The snow had begun to fall in thick, heavy sheets, the kind that swallowed sound and made the world feel painfully quiet. On the edge of an old highway, where Christmas lights from distant homes looked like blurred smudges of warmth he could never reach, a lone biker cut through the night. His engine growled against the winter stillness, a harsh reminder that life didn't pause for anyone, especially not for men like him. But just beyond the next bend, near a flickering street lamp fighting to stay alive, he saw something that made his chest tighten. An elderly woman trembling, sitting alone on a frozen bench with nothing but a thin coat wrapped around her shoulders. She looked like she had been left behind by the entire world. And in that moment, the hardened biker felt something he had buried long ago begin to stir. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of unexpected miracles, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps stories like this reach more hearts. He slowed his bike and parked a few feet away, the crunch of the snow under his boots echoing in the empty night. Everything about her looked fragile, the way her hands shook, the way her eyes darted up, frightened yet hopeful, as if she couldn't decide which emotion she was still allowed to feel. The cold wind whipped past them, but neither moved for a moment. It was as if time had paused so the universe could witness a moment that should never have needed to happen. The biker was not used to helping strangers. He was the kind of man people avoided on sidewalks, the kind who lived life on the darker edges of loyalty, brotherhood, and loss. But something about her, maybe the loneliness radiating from her like a silent cry, pulled him in before he could walk away. He guided her gently to his bike and wrapped her in his spare leather jacket, the only warmth he carried besides the engine heat. She flinched at first, then relaxed, as though remembering what kindness felt. He didn't ask her name at first, not because he didn't care, but because he sensed the weight of whatever she carried. Some stories were too heavy to speak until the heart felt safe. He took her to the only place open that night, a small roadside diner lit with golden bulbs and a glowing Merry Christmas sign taped crookedly on the window. Inside, the smell of cinnamon and brewed coffee wrapped around them like an embrace neither expected. As she warmed her hands around a cup of tea, her story finally slipped out, quietly at first. Her name was Margaret. She had lived her whole life for family, raised children, baked for neighbors, opened her home to everyone during the holidays. But life had drifted. Her children moved away, promising visits that became calls and eventually became nothing. This Christmas was supposed to be different. Her son had told her to come over. He said he'd pick her up. She waited on that cold bench for 3 hours, watching the minutes fade like melting snowflakes. The truth sank in slowly, painfully. He wasn't coming. They had forgotten her. She had been left behind on Christmas night. The biker felt a weight crush him as she spoke. He had spent most of his life believing that people didn't change, that kindness led only to disappointment, that love was something other people could afford but not him. His own mother had passed years ago, and he'd never gotten the chance to fix the things he wished he could. Hearing Margaret's voice tremble as she spoke felt like fate playing a cruel reminder of what he had lost and what he still had the power to protect in that moment. He made a decision right there without saying it aloud. He wasn't leaving her alone tonight. When the diner closed, he took her on his bike through the cold night, careful and slow, until they reached the wooden cabin he used as his retreat from the world. Inside, the fire crackled softly, the warmth filling the space with a gentle glow. It wasn't fancy, just wood, old, leather, and memories, but he decorated a small Christmas tree every year because it reminded him of better days. When Margaret stepped inside, her eyes filled with tears, not of sadness but of relief, of being wanted again, even by a stranger. As hours passed, something shifted between them. She talked and he listened, really listened, something he rarely did, and in her stories he saw pieces of a kindness that felt all but extinct in his world. He cooked her a warm meal. She laughed softly as she watched him struggle with the ingredients. She told him he reminded her of her younger brother, wild but soft-hearted beneath the roughness, a boy who used to protect her when the world felt too heavy. He felt something crack open in him with that comparison, something he didn't know he needed to feel. By morning, the cabin looked like the Christmas he hadn't believed in for years. The biker realized he didn't want Margaret to go back to that cold bench, to that empty house, to another holiday swallowed by loneliness. So he made another choice. He asked her to stay, not out of pity but out of genuine care. He told her she deserved warmth, joy, and a home that didn't forget her. She placed her hand over his, trembling with gratitude, and said it was the first time in a long time she felt like she belonged somewhere. In the days that followed, the biker's cabin transformed into something he never imagined, filled with laughter, warmth, and a sense of family that neither of them had felt in years. Margaret became a light in the quiet corners of his life, and he became the unexpected miracle in hers. A woman abandoned on Christmas night found a son she never knew she needed, and a hardened man found the mother-shaped love he never thought he'd have again. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support keeps these emotional stories alive. Before you go, I'd love for you to comment below what part of this story moved you the most,